diary is a really strange experience for me. Not only because I've never written anything before, but also because it seems to me that later or neither I nor anyone else will be interested in the muzzing of a 13-year-old girl. Oh well, it doesn't matter. I feel like writing and I have an even greater need to get all kinds of things off my chest. Paper has more patience than people. I thought of this saying on one of those days when I was feeling a little depressed and I was sitting at home with my chin in my hands, bored and listless, wondering whether to stay in or go out. I finally stayed where I was brooding. Yes, paper does have more patience, and since I'm not planning to let anyone else read this, unless I should ever find a real friend, it probably won't make a bit of difference. Now, I'm back to the point that prompted me to keep a diary in the first place. I don't have a friend. Let me put it more clearly. Since no one will believe that a 13-year-old girl is completely alone in the world, and I'm not. I have loving parents and a 16-year-old sister, and there are about 30 people I can call friends. I have a family, loving aunts, and a good home. No one on the surface seems to have everything except my one true friend. All I think about when I'm with my friends is having a good time. I can't bring myself to talk about anything but ordinary everyday things. We don't seem to be able to get closer. That's the problem. Maybe it's my fault that we don't confide in each other. In any other case, that's just how things are. And unfortunately, they are not liable to change. This is why I've started a diary. To enhance the image of this long-awaited friend in my imagination, I don't want to jot down the facts in this diary the way most people would do, but I want the diary to be my friend, and I'm going to call this friend Kitty. Since no one would understand a word of my stories to Kitty if I were to plunge right in, I would better provide a brief sketch of my life, much as I dislike doing so. My father, the most adorable father I have ever seen, didn't marry my mother until he was 36 and she was 25. My sister Margaret was born in Frankfurt in Germany in 1926. I was born on 12 June 1929. I lived in Frankfurt until I was 4. My father emigrated to Holland in 1933. My mother Edith Olinder Frank went with him to Holland in September, while Margaret and I were sent to Aachen to stay with my grandmother. Margaret went to Holland in December and I followed in February. When I was plunked down on the table as a birthday present for Margaret, I started right away at the Montessori Nursery School. I stayed there until I was 6, at which time I started in the first form. In the 6th form, my teacher Kupras, the headmistress. At the end of the year, we were both in tears as we said a heartbreaking farewell. In the summer of 1941, Grandma fell ill and had to have an operation. So my birthday passed with a little celebration. Grandma died in January 1942. No one knows how often I think of her and still love her. This birthday celebration in 1942 was intended to make up for the others, and Grandma's candle was lit along with the rest. The 4 of us are still doing well, and that brings me to the present date of 20 June 1942 and the solemn dedication of my diary. Dear Kitty, let me take you to my classroom today. It's Saturday, 20 June 1942. Our entire class is quaking in its boots. The reason, of course, is the forthcoming meeting in which teachers decide who will move up to the next form and who will be kept back. Half of the class making bets. Gian and I laugh ourselves silly at the 2 boys behind us who have staked their entire holidays saving on their bet. From morning to night, it's "you're going to pass." "No, I'm not." "Yes, you are." "No, I'm not." Even G's fleeting glances and my anger outbursts can't calm them down. If you ask me, there are so many dummies that about a quarter of the class should be kept back, but the teachers are the most unpredictable creatures on the earth. I'm not so worried about my girlfriends and myself. We will make it, and the only subject I'm not sure about is math. Anyway, all we can do is wait. Until then, we keep telling each other not to lose heart. I get along pretty well with all my teachers. There are 9 of them, 7 men and 2 women. Mr. Keesing, the old fogey who teaches math, was annoyed with me for ages because I talked so much. After several warnings, he assigned me extra homework, an essay on the subject, a chatterbox. A chatterbox. What can I write? I would worry about that later, I decided. I jotted down the title in my notebook, tucked in my bag and tried to keep quiet. That evening, after I finished the rest of my homework, the note about the essay caught my eye. I began thinking about the subject while chewing the tip of my fountain pen. Anyone could ramble on and leave big spaces between the words, but the trick was to come up with the convincing arguments to prove the necessity of talking. I thought, and suddenly I had an idea. I wrote 3 pages. Mr. Keesing has assigned me and was satisfied. I argued that talking is the student's right and that I would do my best to keep it under control, but that I would never be able to cure myself of the habit since my mother talked as much as I did, if not more, and that's not much you can do about your inherited rights. Mr. Keesing had a good laugh at my arguments, but when I proceeded to talk my way through the next lesson, he assigned me a second essay. This time it was supposed to be on an incorrigible chatterbox. I handed it in, and Mr. Keesing had nothing to complain about for 2 whole lessons. However, during the third, he would finally had enough. And Frank, as punishment for talking in class, write an essay entitled "Quack, Quack, Quack," said Mr. Chatterbox. The class roared. I had to laugh too, though I would nearly exhausted my ingenuity on the topic chatterboxes. It was time to come up with something else, something original. My friend, who is good at poetry, offered to help me write the essay from beginning to end in verse, and I jumped for joy. Mr. Keesing was trying to play a joke on me with this ridiculous subject, but I would make sure the joke was on him. I finished my poem, and it was beautiful. It was about the mother duck and a father duck with 3 baby ducklings who were bitten to death by the father because they quacked too much. Luckily, Mr. Keesing took the joke right away. He read the poem to the class, adding his own comments, and to several other classes as well. Since then, I have been allowed to talk and haven't been assigned any extra homework. On the contrary, Mr. Keesing always makes jokes these days. Yours, Anne. So, my dear students, I have completed reading the lesson. Let me tell the summary of this lesson again in my next video. Thank you.